Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Mario. If you're new here, be sure to check out my other content. We deal a lot with air-cooled 911s, 912s. There's a few videos out of restoration as well as barn finds, storage finds. If you haven't saw it already, there's a 1986 Targa that we recently found last month that was sitting in a storage container for 8 years. That was a really cool video. We're gonna go ahead and start troubleshooting that one to get it back into driving condition and back on the road so we can rip it. Today's video is gonna be all about this 1973 911E Targa. This is an official barn find. It's sat next to a couple of tractors and some old tools. It actually sat for 22 years before the previous owner passed away. His son-in-law was in charge of selling his items, and that's where we came across it. In this video, we're gonna be collabing with WD Detailing. Shout out to RJ and Brent. They actually cleaned up and buffed and got the paint looking fresh on the 86 Targa as well. Before we uncover the car, I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of the backstory. So it's gonna be my first look. Me and Brent actually just uncovered the car. Pretty crazy to see it the first time. First thing that sticks out to me is this paint chipping on the fender. So ideally it looks like it's original and I don't see any layers. Usually if it's been repainted, there's gonna be tons and tons of layers all over it. But all I see is the factory metal under there and then some paint chipping. So I don't know if it got repainted, if this is a new fender, but overall it looks original, which is pretty crazy. So as soon as I saw videos of the interior, it really made me assume that the mileage was correct. It has 26,000 original mileage, which is insane. So the seats look very clean. Obviously there's been a mouse in there, so not a surprise. So we also were able to spot something in the back. That's treasure right there. So it's the original 2.4 grill that goes on the deck lid. And after looking close, it looks like the deck lid's actually original, and someone attached this whale tail style fiberglass spoiler on there. So hopefully we'll be able to just remove this bad boy, clean this up, and slap it on there. Check out this. There we go. Sheesh. So there's that 2.4 liter green shroud for the E model. This is crazy. It's like you're going back in time. Oil cooler up there. Everything looks pretty much original, honestly. Okay, so they have the cylinder firing order. Pretty cool, in case you forget. So compared to my 73, this thing has the original bumpers, which is sweet. It has some cookie cutter wheels, but not a huge deal. I actually have a set of the Fuchs, the original Fuchs for this car off my 912. That'll fit perfectly on this car. So maybe we'll throw those on there. Looking at the passenger side, you can see some more of this paint is peeling off as well, but the body is super nice. Look how fresh that metal is. There's no rot, no signs of, patchwork done like a lot of these cars. Definitely something was living back here for a while. Nice and cozy. It might actually been in that center transmission tunnel, but we'll see a little bit later when the guys at WD go through it. The dash actually has the iconic crack going down the middle, so that's not a huge issue. You can get that repaired or end up pulling it and replacing. We'll see when it comes to it. I'm super impressed with these seats. This is crazy. Like, these seats are better than my 912 seats, and my 912 seats were pretty mint, and these look brand new. I mean, cleaning them up a little bit, some of the edging and this tubing has some wear, but overall they look brand new, and I can definitely see the mileage actually being 26,000 or around that. And that's a big thing too, the Targa top is present. So on the 86 we found, we couldn't find the Targa top, and we had to source one, get one actually rebuilt for us, and they are not cheap. So seeing this thing and in this condition is very nice. Hopefully there's not going to be much once we take it off that we have to do with the assembly, but overall it looks very, very solid. These sun visors are like disintegrated though.
Really?
Like you can just feel like. Okay, let's take a look underneath the frunk. If you're into Porsches and know a little about air cools, you know that this is a long hood. This is the last of long hoods. 73 is the last year that they made the hood basically go a little bit past the fenders or meet with the grille and the turning signal. 74, they started the shorter hoods and more of the G-body styling. So has the chrome headlight sugar scoops, and everything looks original up here, which is amazing. I didn't even know it had an emblem until I saw a video of him wiping it off. So that was pretty funny. I was like, oh, someone stole the emblem, but it was actually just super dirty, which is crazy. So typical.
Why does every Porsche have a stick in it? Is there a reason for that? Just because they don't have a way to keep it up?
Yeah, so the main reason Porsches always have either a pimp cane or some kind of stick to hold up the front hood is because those shocks always go bad. So I had to replace these shocks in my 912, and people just say they're good for a season. They're actually good for a season if you live in a cold climate like we do. So if you live somewhere warmer, you probably never have to replace your shocks, but they just kind of give out. I bought brand new ones and I installed them, and they didn't even hold up the hood. It was pretty disappointing. So I bought them for no reason. So I'm not going to go in too deep, but I like to see that original Fuchs spare wheel. That's really cool. So that's definitely a plus. I don't see any corrosion in this battery tray area. Everything just looks super solid. So it's going to be amazing to see this thing clean up. You got some free pine cones there to hang up on your Christmas trees. All the seals are pretty much rotted. That's pretty normal for this thing sitting for so long. The places to look as far as rust-wise are all looking really good. I'm super happy with this purchase, and it's going to be amazing to see this thing kind of come to life. So this 1973 911E Targa is actually sitting in a barn over 22 years. It might have been more, who knows, but it was next to a lot of older stuff, kind of just left there to be found by us one day. So a few things that aren't original off the bat. The wheels are actually cookie cutters instead of the original Fuchs. So the deck lid is actually also not original. It has a whale tail style fiberglass piece over the original flat deck lid. So the good thing is we do have the original 2.4 badge that's gonna go over it in the grille. The next thing you can notice is the paint that's coming off on the driver's side fender. Underneath is super solid, so it looks like something might have just started happening, sitting for a while, temperature change, might have just started flaking it off. The interior on this car is super clean as well. For sitting so long and being a Targa, I thought it'd be in worse shape, but the miles actually show true because it's super clean in there, and hopefully it comes out looking mint. So this 1973 911E Targa is actually a super rare air-cooled car. It's the last of the long hoods, and the values have been spiking up. When the car was first listed and posted, I had a couple friends send it my way, and I was like, oh, it looks pretty cool, but it kind of looked like a fake listing to me, until my cousin sent it to me about 10 minutes later, and I was like, if it's true and what they say is true, it's worth taking a look at. So, not surprised, a lot of people were hitting this guy up. He said he had 40 calls that night. His wife was actually taking a break and eating while his daughter was on the phone taking calls. He wrote down all the numbers and was communicating with me. He said he had one guy coming that night, and that guy ended up lowballing him, so we had first dibs the next morning. My cousin got the truck and trailer ready, headed down there to take a look. He ended up getting there, looking at the car, and there was another guy right behind him, so there was not much wiggle room on the price. The owner ended up calling a few other people who were on their way and told them to not come anymore, but some people ended up still coming and wanted to see the car, and we thought it was going to turn into a bidding war. But good thing it didn't, and good thing we were able to push this thing out. RJ and Brent are going to go ahead and get this thing cleaned up, buff out the paint, clean up the interior, and make this thing shine. Make sure you see the 86 Targa video if you haven't done so already. You'll see what they can do with these bad boys. Overall, this car is super solid. There's honestly no rust issues that I could find. Nothing on the door sills, nothing on the front pan area where the battery acid usually leaks and starts rotting away at that metal. It's looking super solid, and I can't wait to dive into this thing. Coming to pick up the car at WD's. They did an amazing job. This thing cleaned up super well. A few things to note. There was some paint work definitely done in this rear quarter area. You can see when the door is closed, actually. It's like a slightly different shade, but overall it looks pretty good. The interior cleaned up super nice. It was already pretty minty, but now you got all that mold off. Sheesh. Now we just got to get to making this thing run, getting it back on the road, and yeah, touching up a few things.
Gotcha.
Good stuff, boys. Alright guys, so we got the car to the shop. We're going to go ahead and lift it up, check out underneath, and get this thing troubleshooting and see if we can get it started. Hope you guys enjoyed to see the whole process of the videos of us picking up, the backstory, and everything else. Be sure to check out the other air-cooled videos, subscribe, leave a comment, drop a like if you haven't done so already. We'll make sure to catch you next time. As always, be blessed and be super rich.
Where are we going right now?
To look at a car.
What kind of car?
1973 911E.
Think you're gonna buy it?
One of the many.
One of the many.
So if we end up with it, it'll be nice.